my honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing Kura, Madobi, Garumalam, Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, it is a very important matter of urgent public importance in respect of the disaster that happened about a very pretty young girl, a 5-year-old in Kano. And it happens to be a very sad one, not only for this part of the world, also for the global at large. And Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I wish to recall the attentions of the Honorable House to the tragic incident that occurred in Kano State on the 20th of January, 2021. Security operatives comprises of Nigerian Police, Department of Security Services.
Let somebody second your motion. Let's see if it's important enough to take it today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Benjamin Bem Mzondo. I speak for the people of Makudi, Guma, and also the Speaker of the Teaming Unemployed Youth. I rise this morning to second that the motion, as ably moved by my colleague, be taken. I so second.
I don't know what his prayer is. I don't know what his prayer is. Are you calling for investigation?
Kabiru, please approach the seat, the chair. Meet the speaker.
No, let him just tell what is the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My prayers here is to appreciate the efforts done by the security operatives in Kano, particularly the Kano State Governor, who play a very vital role on the issue in ensuring that justice has been rendered in respect of the late Khanifa Abubakar. That's part of my prayers, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware of the prayers. It's not something of urgent public importance. If the prayer had been to immediately commence investigation and nothing had been done, yes. But to commiserate or commend is not a prayer. That should have even come under notice. But we have, and I say this for the benefit of members, but we have started the process. I'll put the question. It is not a motion of urgent public importance, but let's conclude it instead of arresting it. So those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, so go to I think you should just go to the prayers.
Okay, Mr.
Yeah, since we already know what the issue is, just go to the prayers and we'll get Ken to second that and then we'll put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. We're all aware of the issue about the late Khanifa, a 5-year-old lady that was kidnapped by her mentor, her teacher in the school, and at the end of the day, she was harmed and killed by that tragic accident. Mr. Speaker, part of my prayers here are to appreciate the Kano State Governor under the leadership of our great leader, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, for giving all the supports to the operatives that are front of the issue in making sure the so-called guy was arrested and justice has been rendered. And Mr. Speaker, I want also this honorable chamber to acknowledge the effort of security personnel. Successful operations lead to the arrest of the suspected criminal and collaborators through a strategic intelligence gathering and tactical security operatives. Also, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I clearly condemn the ghastly acts and constitute a delegation, if possible, to see how they can commiserate with Kano State Government and the family of the late deceased. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I assure this matter is treated urgently and to the logical conclusion, giving necessary justice it deserves, such that punishment will deserve as deterrent to others while similar motives. honorable colleagues, honorable Speaker, also mandate the Committee on Justice, Human Rights and Civil Society to ensure compliance. I so support Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I will ask also to acknowledge a minute silent in respect of the deceased. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Kenker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Lawal Abdullahi Kenkan. I represent the good people of Gwale Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the prayer, heavily moved by honorable, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my colleagues, Kabiru Hassan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kenkan. It was indeed a very sad occurrence in Kano State. I was able to talk to the father of the young girl just a few days ago, and his situation and that of his family is pretty bad. We pray that God will console them. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. A minute silence. The soul of the young Hanifa rest in peace. Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of 13 bills. And I invite the clerk to read the short title of the bills.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, presentation of bills which include some public sector reform bills. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2022, first reading. National Council on Special Education Needs Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. National Health Fund Bill 2022, first reading. The Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading. National Universities Commission Act, National Board for Technical Education Act, and National Commission for Colleges of Education Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading. National Security and Civil Defense Corps Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading. Nigerian Airspace Management Agency and Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal College of Medical Laboratory Sciences, Suba Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2022, first reading. Federal Road Safety Commission Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. Protection of Elderly Persons Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal Medical Center Ikonu Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading.
Thank you. The second business of the day is presentation of 3 reports of the Committee on Health, institutions. Standing in the name of Honorable Pascal Obi, the reports are ready for presentation. Honorable Obi is invited to present the reports.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Dr. Pascal Chigozie Obi. I represent the very great and amiable people of Idato North, Idato South Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make presentation of reports of some bills that were referred to the House Committee on Health Institutions. I present as follows. 1, that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center, Bonny, in Rivers State, and for related matters. The second one is that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish Lex Ekwueme Federal Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki in Ebonyi State, and for related matters. 3, that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center, Amago, Ikwo, in Ebonyi State, and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Honorable J.J. Jimo.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Jima Ibrahim Olajide. I represent Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. I stand to second the motion as moved by the Chairman House Committee on Health Institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Obi, please lay your report.
Deputy Defense, to your seat. Deputy Defense. Maki, to your seat, please.
Go back to your seat, Mikey. Go back to your seat, please. Don't cause wahala for me. Don't cause wahala for me. The speaker is today the whip as well. Maki, order from the above.
The third business of the day is presentation of 2 bills, 2 reports of the Committee on Basic Education and Services, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Nyovere. The reports are ready for presentation. Honorable Nyovere is invited to lay the reports or present the report.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Nyovere, representing Onwa Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Basic Education and Services on call for the rehabilitation of unity schools across Nigeria, and also that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Basic Education and Services on the need to investigate the fire outbreak at the Federal Government College, Kefi. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Lagos Caucus leader, please second.
I represent Lagos Island 1 Federal Constituency. I hereby second motion as moved by Chairman Basic Education.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it, Honorable Ihonvere, please. First order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center in Rigasa, Kaduna State, and for related matters, starting in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House and read the first time on Thursday, 24th of November, 2021. I now invite the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read a second time. Leader. Yeah, DS, please guide the leader.
Yes, sir. He's the deputy presiding officer. There is nothing wrong doing that. After all, I don't fly Nigeria's flag in my car. I don't fly Nigeria's flag in the front of my car. So he is doing his responsibility. That is his duty. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, honorable members representing Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I am from Kano State. I rise as directed by the Honorable Speaker to move that a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center Rigasa, Kaduna State, and for related matters, HB 1726, a Senate bill, be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Raji, please second.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Wale Raji. I represent a peripheral constituency of Lagos State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the House, Honorable Ado Dogwa. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Yes, Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, Rigasa, Kaduna State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Being referred to the Committee of the Whole. Honorable Fulata, you're welcome. Congratulations on the wedding of your children. I apologize that I was not able to make it much as I tried for different reasons. God bless the union. The second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter Part 1 of the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 to expand the scope of the Code of Conduct for public officers to facilitate realizations of food and economic security and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Balarabe Shehu Kakale. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 8th December 2021, and I invite Honorable Kakale to move that the bill be read the second time.
Honorable Speaker, sir, my respected colleagues, I'm Honorable Shehu Balarabe Kakale, member representing Boden Garangishu Twitter. I'm from Sokoto, Bernishu. I rise to present the bill for an act to alter Part 1 of the 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, 1999, to expand the scope of the Code of Conduct for public officers, to facilitate realization of food and economic security and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any Honorable Idris?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Once again, my name is Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing Kura, Madoviga, Rumal, and Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Kano State. I rise to support this very important bill, heavily moved by my good friend, Honorable Kakale. I so support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Kakale, can you explain this bill, lead the debate for a minute, so that we get a proper understanding?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. The bill is essentially to expand the scope of agricultural services and production in the country as allowed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Colleagues can recall that the crafters of the Constitution, particularly 1979 up to 1999, only allowed farming. And a lot of Nigerians think by the 21st century, farming is restrictive and does not carry the worldview and the intentions of even the current policy of government in food production as far as the realization of aspirations of the country in economic and agricultural stability is concerned. Because the farming there mostly refers to only manual labor of peasant production of agricultural goods. So the alteration, sir, is to really broaden the scope of that code of conduct so that Nigeria can achieve economic and health security, especially with the severe chronic end and end challenges posed by COVID-19. In recent times, research has shown considerable decline in agriculture.
Hold on 1 second, please, Kakale.
And services in Nigeria.
Kakale, hold on 1 second, please.
All right, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Mr. Speaker and respected colleagues, for a country to experience good food and health, food security and healthy citizenry, there must be availability and adequacy of supply of agricultural products as well as healthcare services. The proposed alteration of the Part 1 of the Constitution is to enable public officers to undertake agriculture as well as health production and services as a proposition which will allow more persons engaged in agricultural production and to curtail the risk of food insufficiency and health insufficiency in the country.
What you're saying is that the definition of farming in the Code of Conduct is restrictive.
It's restrictive, sir.
Who says it's restrictive? Has it been tested in court?
Sir, with the current global view and of the 21st century about
one house, please.
About agricultural production and services. Farming as crafted 40 years ago is restrictive because it was all about probably using who in small hectares of land as envisaged by those who crafted then. 40 years on, I believe, with the current policy of nations and particularly Nigeria to really boost food production and food security, expanding it to agricultural services and production will be more suited with the realities of the 21st century.
Don't you think it will serve a better purpose to interpret farming as you want it in the interpretation section of the Constitution, as opposed to changing the? Just a thought. You'll achieve the same thing, but even wider, because somebody else may come and say, okay, it must also include something else. But Honorable, no, your point is well taken. Honorable Linda, what do you think of this debate?
Analog. Farming is analog. We should
no, hold on. Honorable Linda, what are your thoughts on this issue?
Okay.
Yeah, Honorable Linda, go ahead. It's very important. He's brought up a very important issue.
Honorable Speaker. My name is Linda Chubaigazu.
Yeah, we know your name.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, I'll always try to support my colleagues if it's something I believe in. And I believe my honorable colleague was trying to move a bill to be read a second time. and it's a bill to amendment of the Constitution. And we all know the rules, that when we have a committee on the review of the Constitution.
You are saying it should not be debated?
It's your discretion.
Yeah, we're already debating it. I asked him to lead the debate. So I'm asking for your thoughts.
So, Mr. Speaker, it's good that you asked him to lead the debate. So, of course, I'm going to listen to his submission.
He has already submitted. What is your thought?
No, he's still submitting. Mr.
No, he's done. What is your thought?
No, Mr. Speaker, no, you interrupted him, Mr. Speaker. You interrupted him. He's still submitting. So maybe
His point has already been made. Submission has been made.
No, Speaker, no.
So you have no thoughts on this matter?
No, Mr. Speaker, unless he says.
Honorable Kakali, can you please yield the balance of your time to Honorable Linda? Just yield the balance of your time to Honorable Linda. He has yielded the balance of his time. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm just going to go. I'll speak to the bill. The bill is to expand the scope of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers to facilitate realization of food and economic security. Mr. Speaker, I think that's a very good move, but then I have to sort of like look at all his submissions in support of his bill to determine whether I'm supporting it fully. But in principle, I support it.
Okay, no problem. Experience counts. Does anybody want to speak against this bill? Okay, so those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter Part 1 of the 5th Schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to expand the scope of Code of Conduct for Public Officers to facilitate realization of food and economic security and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the Special Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture in Kolokuma, Okpokuma, Bayelsa State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Oluwole Oke. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 24th November 2021, and I invite Honorable Oke to move that the bill be read a second time. So Honorable Oke around.
Mr. Speaker, I see that Honorable Oke is not on the floor. I move that the second reading of the bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Bill step down. Fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap 812, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 as amended to make provisions for the establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Kini Kasama, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Munir Danagudi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 25th January 2022, and now invite Honorable Danagundi to move that the bill be read a second time.
Yeah, Honorable Mr. Speaker, Honorable Moni is not on the floor. I move that the second reading of this bill be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, I would rather wish to ask, what is quite too special about these two bills? A bill for a Federal College of Agriculture in Bayelsa State, sponsored by Wolo Eke, and another bill of another College of Agriculture for a bill to establish the college in Jigawa State, sponsored by Honorable Munir from Kano State. I really need to have some clarifications from the Chairman House Committee on Business.
Well, Speaker, the clarification is that this College of Agriculture in Srikasama has already been established. But there's an amendment, there's a mistake. Instead of Minister of Agriculture, the bill so accepted to by Mr. President carried the Minister of Education as the minister responsible. So
I don't even think that you need all that explanation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But from what the leader of the House, leader, are you saying that every member should only restrict any establishment bill to his constituency or to his state?
No.
Is that your point?
Mr. Speaker, that is not necessarily my only point. But that could be part of my point, because for the first time this thing is coming up almost suspiciously.
I can decide
And
to,
as leader of
if I feel that there is something missing in Kano State,
Because
I
for
can
someone-
sponsor a bill to establish that thing in Kano State. I wouldn't say because I'm not from Kano or I'm from Lagos, all my activities should be restricted to Lagos.
Sir, if you still allow me to explain, my own observation is coming from a good intention, very good mind. The fact that someone gets up here to establish a college of education or an institution to the benefit of my people, I think that will only be more acceptable if the credit is allowed to be taken by the member from that immediate constituency. Even when you have that good thought, as a member from a different constituency, I only feel it's only fair. You will put your hands together, heads together, along with the member from that immediate constituency, at least to co-sponsor it.
You have a point. You have a point. But I think what may have happened,
Yes.
and should happen, is that if a member from Oyo State, from his work, finds out that something is needed in Bayelsa State, he should get together with the members of Bayelsa State and find out, is this actually needed in your state? And I want to believe that hopefully that has been done, because you can't cry more than the bereaved, right? So I get your point. There should be consultation with the members of the state to find out. Well, I don't know about credit. But yeah, maybe that's a new thing you've just opened up in terms of procedure, and that point cannot be taken away. So members, if you are trying to establish something in another person's state, you can't cry more than the bereaved. Consult with the owners of the state. The new phrase in Nigeria is owners. Consult with the owners of the state and find out if that is real, and possibly let them join you in the sponsorship of that bill to give it more credibility. So I guess that's the leader's point. So step down. The fifth order of the day is a motion on the need to address the devastating gully erosion at the University of Benin and the surrounding communities. Standing in the name of Honorable Dennis Idahosa, Honorable Idahosa is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Dennis Idahosa. I rise to move a motion on a need to address the devastating gully erosion at the University of Benin and the surrounding communities. The House notes that over the years, gully erosion has been causing severe damages to the infrastructure and ecological environment at the University of Benin and the adjoining communities. The House also notes that the erosion has cut off the university from the host community, making life unbearable for staff and students, including Igwe Hana, Igwe Fosa, Uta, and adjoining communities. Aware that the alternative route to the university and the surrounding community has been cut off, thus preventing the students living outside the school campus from having access to the university. Recall that the contract for the erosion control was awarded by NDDC in 2012, but the project is yet to be completed. Worried that the situation has crippled the economic activities of residents of the affected communities and their means of livelihood, thereby causing untold hardship, while some staff and students have been rendered homeless. Concerned that the erosion has altered the ongoing construction of Ekosodin Road, which links the area to the new Lagos-Benin Expressway. Cognizant that if urgent action is not taken to address the problem, the university and surrounding communities might be cut off completely from the other part of the state. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works, Housing, and Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to commence remedial work in the affected communities to restore access to the University of Benin and other parts of the state. The House also resolved to urge the Ecological Fund Office and the Nigeria Erosion Watershed Management Project, NUMA, to urgently collaborate to seek a permanent solution to the erosion menace facing the University of Benin and surrounding communities by funding and constructing alternative routes to the university. Mandate the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to investigate the non-completion of the contract awarded by the NDDC in 2012 to tackle the gully erosion. And the fourth one is the House also mandates the Committee on Works, FEMA, Ecological Fund, NDDC, and legislative compliance to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yusuf, BYA.
Speaker, my fellow distinguished colleagues.
One house, please.
My
One
name
house.
is Honorable Bolaji Yusuf Ayila, representing Mushin Constituency 2 in the best out of Lagos. I rise to second the motion ably moved
Lendos.
by my colleagues. I so second.
Okay, this is a disaster motion. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. You know, honestly, the leader's last comment has provoked my thoughts even more, especially two thoughts. One is a different thing when you are from the same zone, but when you are coming all the way from across the Niger to establish with an establishment bill, we need to consult more, especially establishment bills that cost money and there's paucity of funds. So just another thought there. So members, when you have your establishment bills and you are reaching far across another zone, let's look at it critically. The sixth order of the day is motion on urgent need to complete Calabar Ikoneto Road, standing in the name of Honorable Eta Mbora, and Mbora is invited to move the motion. Your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Eta Mbora. I represent Calabar Odukbangi Federal Constituency. My motion is on urgent need to complete Calabar Ikoneto Road, Cross River State. The House notes that a good road network is vital to the development of every community as it facilitates movement of goods and services within the states in Nigeria. Also note that the contract for the construction of Calabar Ikoneto Road Section 1, Ikoneto Channel 00 Adiabo Bridge, Channel 22-700 was awarded to Transporters and Utilities Construction Company Limited, TOC, with contract number 3517A, but was later terminated at a percentage completion of 30% on the 3rd of January 2002 due to poor
Honorable Tunji, please apologize.
Contractor. Also note that the length of the Calabar Creek Town Ikoneto Road Section 1 and 2 is about 38.8 kilometers, while the Section 2, which is the Adiabo Bridge over Calabar River, Channel 22-7 to Tinapa Junction in Calabar, is about 6.1 kilometers, which had been completed and in partial use. From Ikoneto to Adiabo Bridge, which is about 27.7 kilometers long, traversing through the swamp of Calabar River floodplain and terminating at the west bank of the river, is left unattended to because of the termination of the contract in 2002. Aware that the completion of the road would boost tourism by providing easy access to the whole.
Members, please sit down. Please sit down, please.
to the old home of
Priye. Sit down, please.
tourist attraction and the church of famous Scottish missionary Mary Slessor, with an alternative route to Akwa Ibom State from Calabar through section 10 of the proposed east-west road around to Calabar, worried that section 1 of the road, which had been completed from the bridge at Adiabo town over Calabar River, is currently depreciating and of little or no economic value to the people and government of the state. And government cannot reap full economic benefit of the huge investment already made, as the road is neither linked to Calabar, the state capital, nor linked to Oron Akwa Ibom State. Resolves to urge the Federal Minister of Works and Housing to review the termination of the contract and re-award such contract to a reputable firm for completion. To mandate the Committee on Works to liaise with the Federal Minister of Works to ensure adequate budgetary provision for completion of the road in the 2023 budget estimates. Also mandate the Legislative Compliance Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation. Thank you, sir.
Infrastructure motion, we'll put the question up. As I second that, sorry. Honorable Godwin Elumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimle Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Mbora. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Seventh order of the day is a motion called to review the cocoa production policy of the country, standing in the name of Honorable Ademorin Kuye. Honorable Kuye is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Ademorin Aliukuye. I represent Shomolu Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. The motion is on the need to review the cocoa production policy of the country. The House should note that Nigeria was once a major player in the cocoa production, being the second largest producer in the world with 450,000 tons, and the country's top foreign exchange earner in the 1950s and 60s, before the discovery of crude oil in commercial quantity in the 70s. Also note that the Nigerian cocoa market crashed in 1990 as production fell to 170,000 tons and was impacted by the structural adjustment policies of the 80s that included the dissolution of the Cocoa Marketing Board to liberalize cocoa marketing trade and allow improved cocoa output and pricing. Further note that the National Cocoa Development Committee, established in December 1999 by the Obasanjo administration, was tasked to improve cocoa quality and increase production from 170,000 tons to 300,000 and 600,000 per annum in the short and long term respectively. Concerned that the unregulated and liberalized cocoa industry is depriving cocoa farmers of yearly revenues as they are unable to collect the living income differential of $400 per ton paid to cocoa farmers in other countries like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, apart from the cocoa floor prices that are paid by world across cocoa buyers. Also concerned that despite the availability of arable land and climate to sustain cocoa production in Nigeria, the country has fallen down the line in the pecking order in Africa and the world, respectively. Worried that 100 billion naira revenue is lost annually due to the federal government's non-commitment to find sustainable executable solution to problems bedeviling the cocoa industry. Also worried that despite the cyclical ambivalence of oil, the country's major foreign exchange earner, the federal government has been unable to look into cocoa, which is a potential growth sector that could serve as a buffer during the periods of oil-induced recession, like the time that we are. The House resolved to mandate the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to review all existing and commodity laws and develop a national cocoa policy to reposition the country as the largest producer in Africa and its recognizable position in the world, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Where's Honorable Onyema?
He's here, he's here.
Honorable Onyema, please second. Please second.
I'm here.
Oh, second. Linda, why are you laughing? What's funny? Sorry, Honorable Onyema, I didn't realize you were here with me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my brother colleague. It's a beautiful motion. I don't think we should debate it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. It's such a beautiful motion. I think we need a third person to second. Honorable Galadima, please.
Of course, they're going to come back.
He said he will go and second and come back. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Honorable Galadima, Honorable Raji, to your seat, please. Honorable Galadima, Honorable Raji, Honorable Raji, to your seat, please. Approach the whip. Honorable Galadima. Yeah. Honorable Galadima. Approach the acting whip, please.
The eighth order of the day is a motion on urgent need to rehabilitate Otupoju Okpoma, Ogoja Road, standing in the name of Honorable Samson Oku. Honorable Oku is invited to move the motion. I don't think he's here. Let's step it down.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, something is also on the floor. I move that the motion be stepped down, but I believe that it has accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Motion step down. Ninth order of the day is a motion on saving funds for future generation, standing in the name of Honorable Obidigwe Chinedu Benjamin. Honorable Obidigwe is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Chinedu Benjamin Obidigwe, member representing Anambra East and West Federal Constituency, Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, my motion is on the need for the federal government to save funds for future generation. The House notes that the federal government ought to make conscious and concerted effort to secure the future of Nigerians. Also, the House notes that Nigerians' sovereign wealth fund aims at the following. 1. Save money for future generation. 2. Provide stabilization of funds to defend the economy against commodity oil price shock and provide financing for badly needed infrastructures. The House further notes that Nigeria, with an estimated population of over 200 million people, ranks 58 in the Sovereign Wealth Fund ranking, which is 4 places lower than Angola, an oil-producing African country with a population of 32.87 million people as of 2021, and has $3.2 billion in assets. The House are aware of this significant contrast to what other oil-producing producers, such as Kuwait, which has $700 billion life after oil fund, different from its $41.7 billion foreign reserves. Angola with $32 billion in assets as of March 2021. The House consigned that a country such as Kuwait, with a population of 4.2 million people and projected growth of 5.3 million by 2050, has a future fund of 700 billion to cater for their future population, whereas Nigeria, with an approximate population of over 200 million and estimated population growth of 401 million people by 2050, has a future generation fund of only $2.5 billion. The House worried that the federal government has spent over 1.8 trillion naira on debt servicing in the first 5 months of the year 2021, representing approximately 98% of the total revenue generated in the same period, which begs the question of where the savings are. The House resolves: 1. Urge the federal government to make concerted and conscious efforts to secure the future by A. Increasing earning and diversification of resources. B. Focusing more on non-oil sectors of the economy by adopting alternative sources of revenue to enable foreign inflow from oil earnings to go straight to the Sovereign Wealth Fund without affecting budget financing. C. The House urge control population. The House urgently urge for control population with policy necessary to fix the future population, and secure the approval, and also the House urged for securing approval from the National Assembly before tampering with the country's savings. 2. The House mandates the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hear so move.
Honorable Benila, please second.
I represent Plantain North and South Federal Constituency. I rise to second this motion as moved by my honorable colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. The 10th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the University of Aerospace and Aeronautics, Oka Akoko, and for matters of administration and discipline of students of the university and for related matters standing. Sorry, honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 16 November. Leader will move for his consideration. Where's the leader? Where's the leader? Leader, please move for the consideration. You are needed. Your attention is needed on the other paper. Leader has not been himself since last week. The excitement is palpable. There's no control for, no matter the Honorable Abbas, is everything okay?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, I rise to move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of University of Aerospace and Aeronautics, Oka Alako, and matters of administration and discipline of students and for related matters, HB 1483, Senate bill be considered. The second one, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, is a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Risk Management of Nigeria to provide for the control of membership and promote the practice of risk management in Nigeria and for related matters. 139 be considered, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you, Leader. Minority Leader, please second the two motions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Federal Constituency and from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I hereby second the motion moved by the House Leader that we do consider item number 10 and 11 in the order paper. I so second.
Those in favor of the two motions, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 12th order of the day is consisting of 3 reports of the Committee of Customs and Excise. Honorable Leke Abedide will move for consideration.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Honorable Leke Abegide is my name. I represent the good people of Yaba Federal Constituency. I am from Kogi State. I arrived to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Custom and Excise on the investigative hearing on the unrest in the Iseyin local government area of Oyo State due to the killing of indigents by the men of Nigeria Customs Service and approve the recommendation therein. And also move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Custom and Excise on the investigative hearing on the murder of innocent people in Chibia by men of Nigeria Customs Service on the 9th of August 2021 and approve the recommendation therein. And finally, move that the House do consider the report of Custom and Excise on the investigative hearing on the brutal murder at Igagan, Igbora, Ayete, Tapa, in the Barapa area of Oyo State by men of Nigeria Customs Service and approve the recommendation therein. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Thank you. Honorable Amawi. Honorable Wumi.
I am Honorable Omomi Olubumi Ogunola. I am speaking for the people of Ijeru, Ekiti West, Efon. I am from Ekiti State. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Leke Abegide. I so second. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The House Leader will now move that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider the bills and reports.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, allow me to also thank Right Honorable Aminu Goro for being very supportive to have afforded me to use his glasses. It's an expensive one anyway. I'm afraid if I could afford this time, when next I need a glass to read.
Please. You are not allowed to joke on the floor. That's a new from Arise. And Honorable Aminu Goro does not wear expensive glasses. He's a comrade.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
He's a comrade. He doesn't wear expensive glasses.
I therefore move that, Mr. Speaker, this House do resolve to Committee of the Whole to consider bills and reports. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Honorable Oluwole, okay, please second. Go ahead, very quickly. We're running out of time, Honorable, okay? What are you seconding? Stand now, stand. Honorable, stand now. Yes. Quickly and tell us what you are seconding.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Oluwole, okay?
Sorry, why are you whispering to him?
I'm from Osun State, Mr. Speaker. I represent Ijesha North. I rise to second motion moved by my brother, Ashiwaju, Honorable.
Oh, Leke Abejide?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Leke moved the motion that you are seconding?
And the leader. So my leader, sir, I said my leader.
Well, what was his motion?
That we should move it to Committee of the Whole, sir, to consider reports. Mr. Speaker, you know, he also be as leader, but my leader is Leader Dogwa.
You were seconding Honorable Leke's motion that we have already put the question.
Sir, Leader Dogwa, sir.
Okay.
Leader Dogwa.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of the Houses of the Committee of the Whole, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. House hereby resolves Committee of the Whole. Yes. Yes, the leader has been a distraction to you all day. I don't know why. Are you the first person to have, anyway, let's just.
You know it very well now. I've been extraordinarily excited, right from last week to today. And the excitement continues, just like the count will continue.
Respected colleagues, the first report to consider for a report for an act to establish the University of Aerospace and Aeronautics, Oka Akoko, and provide for matters of administration and discipline of studies in the university and for related matters. And I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the report. Leader. Synopsis of the report.
I'm very uncomfortable here. Here is the former leader around me and a present speaker. Mr. Speaker, will you call the speaker to please go up to his seat?
Colleagues, this is a bill from the Senate and
very uncomfortable here.
For the enhancement of our education system.
It's making my work very difficult here.
Clause 1. Clause 4. Clause 5. Clause 8.
Carried.
Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, plus 25, plus 26, 7, plus 28, plus 29, 30, plus 31, 31. Why should I carry two? The schedules, explanatory memoranda, long title. Respected colleagues, the second report to be considered is an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Risk Management of Nigeria to provide for the control of its membership and promote the practice of risk management in Nigeria and for related matters. Chairman, Disaster Management. For the state, no. It's House of Reps. HB 139. Otoge. Okay. No, it's a bill. Clause 1. Clause 2. I'm aware of this. Clause 3. Clause 4. Clause 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Clause 10. Clause 11. Clause 12. 13. Clause 15. 16. 17. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. The schedules, long title, explanatory memoranda. Respected colleagues, the third report to be considered is that of Committee of Custom and Excise on the investigative hearing on the brutal murder at Igangan Ibora, Ayete Tape, in Iparapa area of Oyo State by men of the Nigerian Customs Service. I now invite Mr. Leke to give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Chairman, sir. There was an issue in Ishane where Nigeria Customs officers stormed the town trying to arrest 2 vehicles carrying rice. And in the process, there was a serious disagreement between them and the people because the complaint was that those items left the border stations and they're already inside town. And there was an incident that happened not quite long before, not between customs, but some people came to attack the town. So people were thinking it was the same people that came in to attack them. So they came out in defense and they were trying to defend their people. And the process, customs shot at those people that were trying to, the innocent people that were trying to attack the officers as a defense, and the process, some people died. The whole village was thrown into mourning, especially the one that happened in the saying. It was during the Eid Kabir celebration. People were celebrating, people were outside. Those people that died, they were just passerby, some were just doing their normal celebration. They were not part of those people even trying to get the rights from the custom. And on the other side of GPR, it was as a result of reckless driving of the driver. Actually, it's a border drill issue. The border drill comprised immigration, police, Nigeria Army, Nigeria Customs. It's a team of operation. But the driver of that particular vehicle that killed these people in the process of overspeeding was a custom officer. And that is why when the custom was invited, they came, they said the issue was not caused by them alone, that is a joint task force. But in our own investigation, we discovered that it was as a result of the reckless driving of that driver, who is a custom officer, that led to the deaths of these 10 people. And the last one, the one that happened in Igagan, which is doctor's place, is very similar to what happened in Iseng. It happened inside the town. The complaint of the people is that why do they allow all this to come inside town before taking action? That is supposed to be, if it happened at the border station, that is between the smugglers and customs, it's understandable. But when they allow it to come inside town, inside market, then you go inside the market, you start, definitely innocent people will be affected. This is what happens, sir.
Thank you very much. That the recommendation is coming from the chairman of Customs. I think the House will, I will plead that we adopt the recommendations. So in the case of the first report of the unfortunate incident that happened in Isai local government area, recommendation 1. Recommendation 1. Got it? 2, 3, 4. Recommendation 5. Respected colleagues, the next report is the one that happened in the GBA. Recommendation 1, 2, 3. And the last is the one that happened, the unfortunate incident that happened in Igbaragba, Ete. Igangan, Abi. Recommendation 1, recommendation 2, recommendation 3, recommendation 4, 5, 6. Leader, move that revert to plenary to report progress.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Sorry, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I rise to move that this House do revert to plenary and report the progress. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Acting Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman, my name is Honorable Rotimi Agusoye, representing Koshokwe Federal Constituency of Lagos. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by our leader, the father of 28 children. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. As to say about the revert to plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the University of Aerospace and Aeronautics, Akoko, and matters of administration and discipline of students and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 30, the schedules, long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Risk Management of Nigeria to provide for control of its membership and promote the practice of risk management in Nigeria and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 23, the schedules, long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Customs and Excise on the investigative hearing on the unrest in Isai local government area of Oyo State due to the killings of indigenes by men of the Nigerian Customs Service, and approved clauses 1 to recommendations 1 to 4 of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee of Customs and Excise on the investigative hearing on the murder of innocent people in Libya by men of the Nigerian Customs Service on the 9th of August 2021, and approved recommendations 1 to 3. Last, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee of Customs and Excise on the investigative hearing on the brutal murder at Igangan, Ayete, Tapa in Ibarapa area of Oyo State by men of the Nigerian Customs Service, and approved recommendations 1 to 6 of the report. Leader, move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My very respected colleagues, Ado Dogwa, once again is my name, representing the good people of Chudumwada Dogwa Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise as directed by the Speaker in the chair that the report of the Committee of the Whole, as read by the Speaker, be adopted. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Acting Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Rotimi Agusoye, representing Koshope Federal Constituency of Lagos. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Leader of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That serve it. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. While thanking members for remaining on the floor to discharge our responsibilities in the chambers of the House of Representatives to this extent, I rise on behalf of the leadership that this House do adjourn till Wednesday, the second day of February 2022 by 11 a.m. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Borneo Akrika Samaguli Federal. House will adjourn tomorrow, Wednesday, 2nd of February 2022. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That serve it. House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, 11 a.m., 2nd of February. Colleagues, please neglect the notice on the order paper constitutional amendment ad hoc committee meeting. I think there's nothing like that. Thank you.